Hey guys, my name is Alexis White, and welcome back to Blackface. So, in today's discussion, we're going to be talking about navigating the corporate landscape and letting go of the stereotype that we've given to our jobs. Now, I've been in corporate for almost 3 years now, or actually exactly 3 years today, and I have experienced so much racist comments, sexual predation, and just so much character growth because of the things that I had to experience being new to the environment. And I hope that by sharing some of these things to at least give you guys a good starting point about what you should and shouldn't do, what you should and should watch for, and also making sure that you stay true to who you are and in your light, because there are so many shady people that try to bring you under their tree when I was meant to be in the sun. So I hope that you'll stick around for this episode because I think I have some good tips for you guys. Before we start the video, I'm going to give you some corporate do's and don'ts. First one, don't go to your very first all black tie event and be the first on the dance floor because this is not your movie moment. Do the corporate shuffle. And you want to look cute? Put a drink in your hand. Number two, don't be the oldest man in existence because you're too scared to be mean. Do give your manager an absolute look of, if you don't fucking save me, I will quit my job tonight. Like, where's the risk management, de-escalation? Where are your practices? Come get me now. So the first thing, big thing for me was identity. I didn't know how to find my identity in this corporate world or in this landscape. I remember always thinking, like, how do I dress? How do I be myself confidently? Is this joke too much? Is my humor too little? Are people going to like me? Are people going to accept me for who I was? And so I found myself being someone that I wasn't because I didn't know how to be myself and professional, for lack of a better way of putting it. And if there was anything I really, really, really didn't want to be, was the stereotypical black girl. Because once you're the stereotypical black girl in corporate, it's really hard for people to see you outside of that identity, especially once they've assumed an idea about you. So instead of being the stereotypical angry or over opinionated black girl, I was the overly friendly girl, which is just as bad. I did anything that anyone wanted me to do. I stayed quiet in super uncomfortable situations, and I made myself as little as possible as not to take up too much space in the room because I was too scared to be outspoken. I was too scared to say an opinion opposing to others because I just wanted everyone to like me. I wanted to come to work and it be easy, and I didn't want no extra problems. But unfortunately, that put me in situations where I was so uncomfortable and felt like if I just keep smiling, I'm a friendly robot. Yeah, I'll do it. If I just be the most enthusiastic team player that the situation would have to subside. But of course it didn't subside. Now they expected me to be that way all the time because that's who I presented myself as in the beginning. And so I would be so uncomfortable. Like, guys, an example, we were at this it was the first team thing, like team dinner that I had went to, and mind you, this was like a new growing team. And so it was the marketing and sales team. Mind you, I was a marketing specialist for years. The sales manager at this event was flirting with me so hard that everyone noticed. I mean, everyone. I mean, he was telling me, ooh, I want to eat your ponytail. Or he's like, I want to miss some peanut butter with some chocolate. Just overly sexual comments that were made in front of everybody. And at that time, I just felt like I had to keep, yeah. Like, is anyone gonna get him? They did end up getting him, but I was so uncomfortable. And when I should have said, like, look, you need to chill, or if I should have just been stern about it, I wasn't. I didn't know what to do because I was so uncomfortable, but it just kept ringing in my mind. Do not be the stereotypical black girl that they expect you to be. Like, because did I want to cuss him out? Did I want to slap his ass in front of everybody so they knew I didn't stand for that? Of course. But I didn't, because if anything scared me more was being the problematic black girl. And so I kind of allowed it to happen. Now, there were managers that got in, they got him into a Uber and got him home, and he was drunk, but it was never acceptable for him to do. And I remember at a later date, the senior director of sales at that time said, yeah, we stand up for people that don't tell on us. And what am I supposed to think as a young woman just starting in corporate that that's supposed to mean? That means don't tell. You know what I'm saying? That means don't say nothing. And it sucked because he said that in front of a table of directors that were women there as well. And nobody said nothing. They just kind of like, hi, giggled it off. But they didn't stand up for me. But what was most important and pivotal at that moment was that I didn't stand up for myself. And now the expectation of me not standing up for myself was set. You know what I'm saying? You have to make an example out of somebody for everybody to know that you ain't the one to play with. And I ain't make no example. I just accepted anything that came my way, even when it came to my work. People could ask me to do anything, and I would likely do it because I didn't want to be a problem. I wanted my job, and I wanted my job to be easy. And even if that ease for everybody else came at my expense and my comfort. Now, did you know that more than 80% of white men and women feel themselves to be an ally at work, while less than 50% of black women feel they actually have an ally? Also, because black women face racism and sexism, they experience a wider range of microaggressions than that of any other race. Here are some microaggressions that black women face comparative to their female counterparts. 41% of black women say they have their judgment questioned in their area of expertise. 40% of black women say they need to provide more evidence of their competence. 26% of women say they have people that are surprised by their language skills. And 18% are subject to hearing demeaning remarks about them or people like them. Now, Women in the Workplace is an annual study. Since 2015, more than 590 companies employing more than 22 million people and 250,000 individual participants have participated in the Women in the Workplace study, making it the largest study done on the state of women in corporate and the experiences of women of color. This is a study I will refer to throughout the duration of this video. I have also linked it in my video description below. I couldn't find my purpose at my job. I felt as though if I wasn't this super extroverted team player, that I wasn't going to have a job. That if I didn't do every single thing that's anybody told me, not my director, not my manager, any team's director, any team's manager, any team ever, I would have to do it. And even though people would ask me like politely, right, they knew I would say yes because I did not learn the word no ever. And this led me to feel so unpurposeful in my role. I mean, if I'm just a catch-all for everybody, who am I? What do I do? What strengths do I offer this team? And I felt like my greatest strength was just being a team player. And while I care about being a team player, I really care about being a team player because I played basketball my whole life. It is not the only strength that I have to offer the team, yet that's all I felt I had to offer, because I became everyone's emotional crutch. I became everyone's support system, and yet I felt so unsupported. I wanted a role that was specific to me and that I could align success with, but I was never able to. Even in my second annual review, y'all, my freaking manager said, well, you were such a team player that we couldn't properly rate you. I have never been rated less because I helped the team. And in my first annual review, she's like, even though you exceeded expectations, I can't give you that because it didn't mean we have to give you a raise. There's just some things you should never admit ever. Like, you couldn't waterboard that information out of me. You would have to make up any other lie. Like, don't say that to me though, because now I feel demeaned, belittled. But at that time, I wasn't even upset with that person for saying it. I was upset at myself. Like, yeah, you'll never be good enough, because I put those feelings inside of me as if they were my own. Like, see, you're not good enough, Lex. See, you don't really have a role. You're this close to getting fired if you don't help every single person out ever. And it sucks, because even when I was going through my hardest days, I feel like nobody knew that, because I had to be the extroverted team player that never took issue with anything. And I felt like no one actually cared about me. And they cared about me enough to put me on countless jobs to get them started, but then as soon as they hired someone to be put into position, took me out of it. Like, all right, Lex, here's the next thing for you. And that really hurt my feelings, because I've built these projects up just for you to take me off of them with no explanation, with no concrete reasoning. Just, all right, next thing. Like, I'm just good enough to continue to be moved, and this is why you keep your job. And that really hurt my feelings, and it got me to such a mental and emotional point of exhaustion. I started to feel like I hated working there, when truthfully I didn't. Like, I love my coworkers. I really enjoyed my team for the most part. Every team has hard days, but I was so fed up of feeling less than everybody else that I felt like I would rather just not be there, because it hurt. It hurt every single day that I could put all my time, effort. I spend more time trying to get projects to where they needed to be just for someone else to swoop in and I get taken off of them with no explanation. And so I didn't have a purpose there, or it felt like I didn't have a purpose. My only purpose was to support everybody when support was needed, that I didn't have individual strengths. So, of course, this led to me, before I was even 25. I'm 25 now, but before I was even 25, I was burnt out. I was tired of not feeling purposeful, tired of feeling like no one cared about me, tired of just being everyone's substitute, and tired of pouring myself into each and every project, giving my best, giving my all, educating myself. I would go do courses just so I could do the project better, because I wanted to show people that I was intentionally trying to be better every day. And it just got so frustrating, because if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put my best effort in. And the best effort, I get it. It doesn't always mean it's the best that could have been done, especially with someone with more experience. But I would have expected someone to help me navigate each project to a point of succession. Not, oh, well, we're taking you off. Hey, you built the foundation, babe, that we're still using today. But hey, we're going to put you on something else now. Now we need you here, here, and here. And we're not going to appreciate you on any step. And so I just want to know, how many incentives can an employee get before they get a raise? Because in counting, I got 10 in a year. I'm just churning numbers here. So every other month, I'm doing something good enough to get an incentive, but not a raise. Okay, guys, this one's super quick. Did you know that black women are no more likely to express anger than any other racial group in America? And because of this perceived anger that we express, we are unfairly penalized for our ambitions in the workplace. Because of these stereotypes, 49% of black women feel that their race makes it impossible to receive a promotion, while only 3% of white women and 11% of women in general feel this way. The only time I recognized that someone cared was in the beginning, when I first started and I needed help with everything and I didn't really know what I was doing. Then they loved me. But when I started having good ideas, when I started being able to manage the projects myself, when I started being able to really make progress, all of a sudden, I'm not your favorite person no more. And that's what I started to realize. And in my burnout, I realized, you got to stand up for yourself, Alexis. Alexis, stand up for yourself. Are you going to keep letting people walk all over you, or are you going to enter into the light that you've always been? I got so burnt out and so tired that I had hit a personal career rock bottom. I was so low in how I was feeling. I felt I hated it there. But I didn't, because I genuinely liked my coworkers, and most of the time I really liked what I was doing. But how long can someone go without feeling important? I honestly realized that even if I did change jobs, it might not get better. So, what had to change for it to get better? And this got me into thinking. I had to stand up for myself. But I was over it. I had to realize that I was exhausting myself for people that was never going to see me for who I was, or people that were determined to see and alter the image of who I am. And I also had to realize that they saw me for the person they hired me on as, not the person I grew into. And I wasn't going to continue exhausting myself for people that meant that they were going to see a different image of me. I wasn't, because I know who I am, and I can't believe I contorted and shaped and pushed and fit into this little box just to make people comfortable, because it will never, baby, it ain't never gonna happen again. It ain't never gonna happen again. But I did do that, and now it's time for me to get out of that. And what's really hard about setting boundaries once you didn't have them, and setting boundaries with like those same people that are used to you not having them, that there's gonna be some attitude. Baby, they're gonna be like, oh, she got an attitude all of a sudden. Oh, she's changed. Baby, I didn't change. I just realized something about myself, and or I guess that is changing, because you're not gonna run all over me. And I did change, because now I have boundaries. I'm sorry. Let me. My name is Alexis 2.0, new and approved grown woman, 25. And it's nice to meet you. But yeah, I had to start setting boundaries. And the first person I set that boundary with was my manager. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if there was anybody so used to me kissing ass, it was her. And rightfully so, though, because I kissed ass. I kissed her ass, and anybody that asked me that kissed they ass. And now I gotta take my kisses back. And the first way I stood up to her was in my review, because I didn't agree with it. And do you think she liked that? Of course not. The first chance that she got to make a joke about it, she did. And in front of other people and everybody and other leaders. I didn't care though, because I meant what I said in that review. And I don't even remember what I said at this time for her to make I think it's because I was on the Daniel fast, and I told people like, oh yeah, my mood's been up and down lately. You know, the Daniel fast is a hard fast. Da 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 da. And she was like, yeah. I kept my composure though. No, but serious point though. It is quite common for black women to not feel supported by their managers compared to other races of women. As you can see by this chart, only 22% of black women say that their managers help them manage their career paths. Only 24% of black women say they have the sponsorship needed to advance their career. Only 29% of black women say that their managers would advocate new opportunities for them. And 36% of black women say that their managers provide opportunities to showcase their work. It is so crazy to know that I was not crazy. Back to the video. And so I decided to digress, and I decided to stop trying to fight every single battle, but I was going to stand up for myself in a way that meant you are not going to walk over me anymore. And I did. And I was really proud of myself. I gained so much confidence, and it changed a lot. Honestly, it changed my perspective of the situation I was in. It changed my perspective of my team. It changed a lot in that moment, because now I talk to my coworkers a lot, or At that time, I talked to my coworkers a lot more. I felt I could divulge to them. I felt like we can have deep conversations. And after we had these deep conversations, we realized we were going through a lot of similar things. And I'm happy to say that I did finally stand up for myself. And even though that wasn't the only way I stood up for myself, that was the first and hardest way for me to stand up for myself. And I did it. I finally gained some confidence. So, under a combination of standing up for myself, and also I got put under a new manager. So, under this new manager, he was just so great. I mean, he affirmed me, he respected me, he listened to me, he didn't interrupt me when I was speaking. He just made me feel as though I mattered. And even when I was wrong, he was able to correct me in a way that I was so receptive to and understood. Like, okay, I just didn't know that. That and standing up for myself was the best combination I could have experienced towards the end of my time at this company, because it made me so much more confident. It made me realize that I definitely have strengths and weaknesses, and that I definitely knew what I was talking about, and that my opinion mattered. It actually made me confident to finally go get other jobs. I felt like all I was going to ever be good at was doing the work for this company, because they had already kind of learned my personality. But no, when I tell you recruiters were looking for me for marketing manager roles, when I applied for certain positions, I actually got called back. It just really affirmed the confidence that was growing in me, and I finally felt like I had just broken out of this box that I put myself from the very beginning, and it felt so good. And if any of y'all are having trouble navigating the corporate landscape, I need y'all to understand that you are not just an employee. I don't care what people say. I used to make the joke too, like, girl, I'm just coming to work and getting a check. No, I'm not. I don't stop being a human being once my workday starts. I am a human being that has feelings, emotions, cares, personal grievances, and a lot of things that I'm bringing to this company. And not only do I matter as an employee and as a person, my personal experiences matter. When I got to understand that there were so many different unique styles of leaderships and leaders coming from all different backgrounds, I realized how important it was to be unique in your own way, right? Every perspective and background matters. Diversity matters. Your opinion matters. And when I finally realized I don't have to be this exact person I thought you had to be this whole time, is when it's like a veil over my eyes lifted, and I finally just got to be me. And me was enough. Me has strengths and weaknesses. Me is a light that sometimes can be a little shady, because not every day is good. Me has good and bad days. Me is just as important, just enough, just like everybody else was on that team. And so I finally accepted me, therefore everyone else had to. Yeah. You have to. They didn't accept me because I didn't accept me. But now that I accept me, baby, this is what you're dealing with, period. And the people that align with you will align with you. And those that don't. Peace. Bye. I only want friendships and coworkers that align. But regardless, you have to work with everyone. I grew so much in character and personality and in career development. And I want y'all to know that everything you are is enough. So, now I hope you guys will join me next time. I don't really know what the next topic is going to be yet, but we're going to stick with the letting go of the stereotype, because there's a lot of stereotypes we need to let go. I got a couple in the arsenal, but which one's going to be next, you know? But until next time, y'all, I'll see y'all later.